This indenture witnesseth that Samuel Slater of Belper, in the county of Derby, doth put himself apprentice to Jedediah Strutt, during which term the said apprentice his master faithfully shall serve, his secrets keep.
That song you sang earlier was written about the river that worked the cotton mills in our valley. And over 200 years ago, here in Derbyshire, at the start of the Industrial Revolution, children of your age would have been working in cotton mills. They would have worked for 12 hours a day, from 6 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night. They would have worked for 6 days a week, and then on Sundays, they had to go to school.
Oh, sir, that's not fair.
One little boy who worked in the mills in Belper and Milford went to America, and he became very famous. His name was Samuel Slater. Samuel Slater was born on the 9th of June, 1768, near Belper in Derbyshire. Imagine what it must have been like at that time. In 1768, Belper was a village of around 500 people, surrounded by smaller villages, hamlets and farming land. People made a living as best they could, either on common land or plots that were owned or rented. As well as agriculture, it has a nail-making industry with individual nail makers in their own workshops. Most families have a framework knitting machine and spinning wheels at home. There are 6 children in the family of William Alcock Slater and his wife Elizabeth. Isn't that right, Lizzie? Now there are 7, with a new baby boy who will be called Samuel. Good morning, children. Now, as you all remember from our last lesson, wool comes from sheep on the hills and counties surrounding us. But silk and cotton that has to be brought to Derbyshire from other countries all over the world comes from places like India and the Levant. Can anyone tell me another country? Yes, Samuel Slater.
The Americas.
Yes, the Americas. And Mr. Jedediah Strutt and Mr. Richard Arkwright have machines at their watermill just up the river at Cromford that can spin cotton 10 times faster than anyone can do at home. Unlike working days on the farm, the mill owners wanted their employees to work regular hours. So a knocker-upper was employed to wake people at the same time every morning.
Here, Samuel, some bread and dripping to keep you going.
Thank you, Lizzie.
You all got into trouble coming down on this floor, Lizzie Slater?
I just brought Samuel his breakfast.
Are you still here?
to have a go at fixing the machines, Samuel? You don't need an apprenticeship. You've got a good job as a clerk.
I've been a clerk long enough. I may get to know all the workings of the machines being stuck in one place. I want to know everything to do with cotton manufacturing. I want to have my own mill one day.
You're a dreamer, Samuel. Like someone's doing in mills. That's the gentry.
Aye, and gentry don't lose any fingers, do they, Joseph Naden?
That's not funny. They bandaged me up and sent me straight back to work. Do you want to see the stump?
Samuel!
What is it, Lizzie? Calm down. What's the matter?
It's Father. He's had an accident in the hayfield.
I, William Slater of Belper, in the parish of Duffield and county of Derby, yeoman and farmer, being weak of body, but of sound mind, memory and understanding, praise be to God for the same, do make this my last will and testament, on the 8th day of August, 1782. First I make my son William Slater sole executor of my will. To my son Thomas I leave a house and barn shop and gardens, and the land at the upper and nether crofts, also £60. To my loving wife Elizabeth Slater, 1 bed and bedstead and hangings, and 1 cow, to have her kept winter and summer, and 1 house to dwell in, standing on my freehold estate on the intake on Chevin Ward, and £10 a year for the rest of her life. To my son Samuel, when he reaches 21 years of age, I leave a house and stables and garden at Belper Green and £20. Well, Samuel, I fear I won't be able to help you with your indentures of apprenticeship. You'll have to do that business yourself.
I'm prepared to grant your request for a charity apprenticeship with my new mills at Milford, under the following terms. This indenture witnesseth that Samuel Slater of Belper, in the county of Derby, doth put himself apprentice to Jedediah Strutt, of new mills in the parish of Duffield, during which term the said apprentice his master faithfully shall serve, his secrets keep. He shall not waste the goods of his said master, nor lend them unlawfully to any, but in all things as a faithful apprentice shall behave himself towards his said master and all his during the said term.
Thank you, Mrs. Strutt.
Jedediah Strutt was, by all accounts, a good and fair employer. Offering a charity apprenticeship to a lad like Samuel Slater was just one of his good deeds. As the Derby Mercury of the 25th of October 1785 recounts. We hear from Belper in this county that Mr. Strutt has, with a liberality which does honour to the human heart, entirely at his own expense, instituted a Sunday school for the benefit of all the youth of both sexes employed in his cotton mill at that town, and provides with them all necessary books, etc., for learning to read and write. Samuel's schooling at this time, though, was of a different kind.
Right, leave that now, Samuel. There's a belt needs fixing on the next floor. Samuel? Can you take a look at this?
Well, Samuel, no longer an apprentice, and it's advancement for you again.
Right.
I'll never make my fortune as an overseer. Arkwright's patents are out of time. Well, why can't the workings of his machines be used by others?
To start a business, you need money, and only gentry as that.
There must be a way for a labouring man to make his fortune. Just as Mr. Strutt and Arkwright, that pot-belly barber from Bolton, have done. The world is changing.
I've heard that one or two are going up into Lancashire to work in the mills they're building up there. There seems to be lots of opportunities in Manchester.
I still mean working for a master. I've read they're advertising in newspapers in America for anyone with good knowledge of the spinning industry.
But it's illegal to take Mr. Strutt's secrets out of the country. There's laws being passed.
Laws?
And it is so amended, it is an offence punishable by a fine of £200, 12 months' imprisonment, and the forfeiture of goods to export any machine, engine, tool, press, paper, utensil or implement, or any part thereof, which then was, or thereafter might be used, in the woolen, cotton or silk manufactures of the kingdom, or goods wherein wool, cotton or silk were used, or any model or plan thereof, and a fine of £500, with possible loss of inheritance rights and property forfeit to the state for every person enticed abroad to diffuse technical knowledge.
Do you think the cotton business is overdone in this country?
Samuel, Mr. Strutt taught you her skills, so don't you think you owe him something in return?
I've fulfilled my time. I've served my part of the bargain. I've some business in London and must catch the flyer from Derby this evening.
At least we'll have a bit more space for a while.
When will you be back?
Is this the flyer?
14 shillings, or if you want to travel inside, it'll be £1.08.
My dear mother, this note is to tell you what I could not say before. I am bound for America. Even as you read this, I'm aboard ship. I know my going so far away will grieve you, and I'm sorry for it. But I think that in America, I shall more easily be able to make my way with the skill I worked so long to learn. I know that what I do is against the law, unjust though that law might be. It is shameful, but to better my life I must hide my trade. It was to that end that I took Thomas's old smock. The authorities are watching out for mechanics, not farm labourers. The worst of it is, I fear that I may never be free to come back to England. And I'm sorry for that also. I will think always of you, and the rest of our family, and hope that matters will go well for all of you, as I have every confidence that they will do for me. Your affectionate son, Samuel.
Samuel Slater prospered in America. Legend has it that he built an Arkwright spinning machine from memory. It is a fact that in 1793, he and his partners, Olmay and Brown, built a small factory in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, which opened with 72 spindles.
During which term the said apprentice his master faithfully shall serve, his secrets keep.
In 1835, 2 years before his death, and suffering from rheumatism, Samuel Slater was visited at his home by the then President of the United States of America, Andrew Jackson.
I understand you've taught us how to spin, so as to rival Great Britain in her manufacture. You set all these spindles to work, which I have been delighted in viewing, and have made so many happy by a lucrative employment.
Yes, sir. I suppose that I'd give out the psalm, and they've been singing to the tune ever since.
I can think of but one title for a man with your amazing record, sir. The father of American manufactures.
And to this day, there are still people in Belper who say Slater the traitor. Well, children, what do you think? Was Samuel Slater a traitor or hero?